Welcome back, everybody, to the back nine coverage of round 2 for the challenge at Goat Hill Park. This is a Silver Series Pro Tour event brought to you, or actually sponsored by Innova. They are the title sponsor of this tournament, and we are super thankful to have GK Pro covering the FPO all weekend long. Here's a look at our leaderboard. Ohn is in first at 4 down. There's a tie for second, Holyn and Lisa making a move. Nicole Bradley is actually currently tied for 6th place. We've got Jessica Weiss and Ella Hansen on the second card battling to make their spot and earn their right to play on top card for the final day.
This is hole 10. It's a 753-foot par 4. This is maybe the most exciting hole to throw. There is OB both left and right, which is a little nerve-wracking. The OB on the left is not the fence line. It's about 5 feet right of the fence line, so you can go OB even though there's that giant fence.
I love the way they set this hole up, and I agree with you, Juliana. The most exciting hole to throw, in my opinion, on this whole course. Just look at that huge hyzer. She's hanging it out over the OB, just knowing there's plenty of room to come back. Great shot for Lisa there.
Predominantly, it's usually a right to left wind, but you still can see discs being forced over by the wind and sailing out of bounds on the right-hand side. I don't think we're going to see that on this card, though.
Ooh, right after Ohn let go of that one, she knew it was a bit early, and she's getting the red flag for out of the boundaries. And Holyn letting go also just a little bit early. You could see right away she's walking away from that tee shot, knowing it's going to hit the OB, also receiving the red flag.
I think she let that go too high. I think she was expecting or wanting to throw a little bit lower to match the trajectory of the fairway.
And Nicole playing it nice and safe. Good wind read. Second shot for Ohn from OB.
So there's still a lot of work to do here. The basket is right of a very severe drop-off. And there is still OB next to that fence. I can't tell if she's far enough.
It does stop just right at the edge of circle 1, I think, but it's still up there quite a ways. Holyn testing her footing, really thinking about the wind and the slope here. It is not an easy second shot.
No, it is not. Because of that supporting line that they're going out and around, they're having to put the bottom of the disc into the wind. So they have to judge how much it's going to be pushed by that strong wind.
And Holyn's I think that was a great shot. It was a smart play. She's in the bowl safe. Gives herself a look.
That looks like very good edge control.
Great shot there for Lisa. A little bit of a death putt. I know I've been there twice myself, but I love being on flat land. And also, same thing there for Nicole, a little farther away, but gives herself a chance. See if she can cash in on this.
So now this isn't quite as scary as it looks. There is a drop-off behind, but it's not immediately behind. But when I say drop-off, I mean like 80 feet of drop-off. It's severe.
You can see Ohn and Nicole both not even messing with any more problems, just laying it up safely. Oh, just left side.
Very good height on that. Just maybe a little bit more forward momentum and it would have stayed in.
Cash.
So solid.
Gotta love getting a birdie there. That is coming up on the field for sure. This is such a fun and fantastic hole to play, but to get the birdie, man, that's a massive challenge. Man, I love this hole though. It's like I get excited for all the tee shots. It's like that time when the jaw just drops and hits the ground. So much big distance to throw down.
Yeah, that's a fun one to throw, and it's a really fun one to watch. Hole 11, 427-foot par 3. The most predominant feature of this hole are the undulations in the fairway that are likely going to provide some unusual footing on your approach shots. The farthest throwers may be able to get close enough for a birdie, but most people are going to have a short approach for hopefully an easy par.
Yeah, I think this hole's pretty tricky. That OB on the right, it starts in just the landing zone for most FPO's drives.
The cart path is what is the OB line, and there is a very strong headwind, so players must throw something overstable to make sure that they don't flip over into that OB.
Nice safe shot there. Let's see how Nicole handles this drive. You can see the headwind kind of blowing right in the face there. Gotta have a stable enough disc to fight through. No problem here for Nicole Bradley. It's like winning the lottery to get some good stance there.
Well, the other thing, because of all of those undulations, you almost never get any kind of skip at all on this drive.
It just sticks. Holyn with plenty of distance to get there, and she is playing it pretty aggressive. They're doing a little bit of a force over. Gets herself the farthest up the fairway, but still tough footing everywhere. Takes so much power away from a player when your front foot is, 2 and 3 feet above your back foot.
This approach isn't quite as scary as some of the other ones. For one, you can see most of the basket, which makes it easier to judge where you need to be. And for two, there's no drop off on either side of this one, so you're not worried about rolling away or skipping away.
We've got 3 beautiful upshots there. Shouldn't be any problem for those ladies to tap in. Holyn's looking like she's really trying to find the way to generate power. She's going to give this one a bid, I think. Ba-doop. Up in the air and parked just under it with a good, attempt at it. Everybody's tapping in there. Nice pars for this feature card. And moving on to hole 12. As soon as Holyn taps in here, of course. And we want to give a huge shout out to the discbarn.com for all of these awesome flyovers, drone flyovers. We really appreciate this kind of support and coverage, especially for the FPO. Hole 12 being one of the toughest holes to break down. I mean, it's a par 5, 715 feet, tons of elevation. I mean, this is a tough hole, but we just really want to appreciate the discbarn.com for these excellent flyovers. Look how far that drone had to fly. I mean, this par 5 is massive. Lisa Fajkus holding the box and playing the much safer shot.
It doesn't really matter too much where the drive ends up on this one. Obviously, you want to get as much distance as you can to make it easier on the next couple of shots, but it's not critical to have max distance here. There is OB on the left, but it shouldn't come into play for us for this first drive.
So far, everyone keeping it safe in the fairway. And let's see what Holyn does here.
She's probably going to be a little bit more aggressive and take the inner. No, she's playing it out safe too.
There we go. And all of these players actually keep it low and out of the wind too. Really good wind reads, good tee shots.
Okay, so now they've turned, let's see, left to go up the fairway. Now this is more uphill than it appears. So players are giving it all they've got. There is an OB line. That is not it. That is just a rope in the middle of the fairway. The OB line is on the left-hand side, and players actually want to end up on the left-hand side so that they have a better line at the basket, which is tucked up to the right.
I think that was a great shot for Lisa. She was on a complete side hill there, really tough footing. She keeps it low. I mean, she's, not messing around with trying to go over the hill. That requires insane amount of distance to do. Good shot for Holyn there. She's playing smart golf up the fairway. And nice, easy upshot for Nicole Bradley there as well.
Yeah, I like that positioning.
Just a little more further on the left-hand side gives you an easier look at the third shot.
So now there's some difficulty here. We've got a OB green on the left, so she's a little bit short. She's fine though. This is a very significant slope where the basket is, and if you turn something over, like a backhand turnover, has to land pretty flat. It has to come out of the turnover, or it's probably going to roll, and it could potentially roll onto the green. So a sidearm is very beneficial here, or a lefty shot, so that it's less likely to roll once it hits that. Both of those were coming in too short.
Just a little pinched off by those bushes. Oh, same thing for Lisa, but she gets a rollout. Not that anybody loves rolling backwards. I do think, though, that that wasn't too bad of a thing to happen.
Yeah, I think I would rather approach the basket from there than from the trees that she...
With all that really drastic sloping, I can't help but agree, too. It's already tough enough just to stick it up there on the hill, but to go around something that's taller than you is so hard.
Not only is this pin very protected and very tucked up to the right-hand side, it's much higher than the fairway where they're throwing from. So it feels like it should be reachable, but it's really hard to get there. Very nice attempt to curve that putt up there.
Yeah, that was a good one. And Nicole lining up a super uphill jump putt. Oh, I wanted that for her so bad. She drew the power and everything just great, just a tiny bit short. Lisa tapping in her par. And same thing, everybody's doing a little drop in there. We got a par for Ohn. I think it was par for Holyn there as well. And Nicole. So no damage, no amazing birdies, moving right on.
Hole 13, 411 feet, par 4. This is generously sized island green that is harder to hit than it appears. Players must throw an overstable disc because of the strong headwind, but the fairway slopes right to left, and I've seen a number of shots that looked like they would be just fine end up finding the OB on the left. And I'm sorry, that's a par 3, not a par 4.
You see how wide, though, the players are hanging it out either just on the OB line, right, or even over it sometimes. And again, like Juliana said, you think it's going to land in the center cut of the fairway, but there's such a drastic slope there that all discs get a skip. It's pretty dangerous stuff. But keeping it low like that, that's how you play this hole.
Yeah, and they're throwing it very wide to the right side, which is also smart because the slope doesn't start. It's not as drastic on that side as it is on the left-hand side.
Keeping it high up there, much easier approach. And playing a little bit of that force over, not too much.
A little worried about this one.
Finding the OB for Holyn there.
Another very large elevation gain from up where your approaches are to where the basket is, and you can't. So there's a good view of the basket. That's about how much of the basket the players are being able to see. They can see the top of it, not the base of it.
And even though we've all played this course now at least once and then however many practice rounds, when you can't see the base of the basket, even though you know the lay of the land, there's all this question and all this doubt in a player's heart right before throwing of, oh man, what if I kick up and roll? What if I go too far? What if I go too left?
Well, it just puts a question mark at the end of the equation that your mind automatically does to tell you where you need to aim.
Lining up this putt and just getting a right side chain from that circle two, it looked like she gave it a jump. Bringing it in there. Good comebacker. Even though she's not happy to take the bogey, she did cash in that putt. Lisa for her par. Takes it. No problem, no question. par for Nicole. As we watch Holyn tap in here, we've got a drastic score change, and Lisa has taken the lead. She's 2 strokes ahead of the entire field. Pretty exciting stuff. Let's check the leaderboard out. Like I said, Lisa's made a move. Ohn's still holding on to second place, and a tie for third with Holyn and Jessica from second card. Don't count Ella Hansen out of this one, folks. She's fighting.
Hole 14, 453 feet, par 4, 47 feet of elevation gain. The fairway slopes both up and from right to left. I actually think being on the left-hand side of the fairway gives you a better approach at the basket because it's more gradual slope instead of having to go up over the ridge. Either way you look at it, this is a pretty hard approach shot as the elevation and then the trees surrounding the basket. And don't forget the OB that is about 15 feet behind the pin.
And it's a short 15 feet behind the pin.
Yes.
It's just right there.
Well, it's a fast green. There's no grass on that green.
Good shot there for Lisa. Center cut fairway. And I keep telling myself I want to be where Nicole just was aiming and landing. I want to be on the left side. Unfortunately for me, I continue to try to break off more than what I should chew on, and I end up on the right, which is much more steep of an approach.
Well, you know that this hole plays very far for the distance, and so you want to get as much distance on your drive as you can to make it easier. But if you are aiming directly at the pin, you're kind of handcuffing yourself a little bit. Holyn can throw far enough that she can throw straight up at it and get over that ridge.
What a shot. What a cannon on her arm. It's not really an arm, it's a cannon.
As is the case on many of these holes, this second shot, most of the women are going to have an uphill run-up or a little bit of a side hill run-up.
Messing with your timing, no doubt. Wow, this looks pretty nice. Puts it up in the air, landing with an open approach to the basket, open putt attempt.
Fantastic. Right in the middle of the opening.
Yeah, both her and Lisa had great up shots. This is looking really nice as well. Wow, this top card. They know what they want.
They're making this hole look pretty easy.
And Holyn lining up the sidearm here. Gave it just a little too much angle, giving her a really tough, kind of pinched approach at the green here. She's got to throw something overstable, giving it a jump putt so she can hyzer around that corner. Catches some tree.
Okay,
Oh.
So her disc did not come down on the tree. In California, we play the 2-meter rule. That means if you are more than 2 meters off the playing surface, it is an OB stroke, and you play it directly below the lie.
With 1 stroke penalty. Not the happiest of rules, but again, pretty much always in effect in California and a lot of times on the West Coast.
That's a frustrating penalty to take.
That is a beautiful putt to make. Let's take. Yeah, I like how I was like, yeah, I got it. We're done with this one now. Let's get that replay. Wow, 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 wow. Chains. Can hear the cheers in the background, and Ohn is just stoked. Taking the birdie, getting out of town. She's coming up on the field there. Stretched out from that 2-meter penalty, makes the putt.
Well, that's an unfortunate bogey after such a gorgeous drive on that hole for Holyn.
Great putt from the knee, though. Lisa, she doesn't even need to take the bag off. It's a tap in. Nicole there, just a tap in. Ready to move on to the next hole for sure.
Hole 15, 764-foot par 5. Players must remain alert as those sand traps that you can see on the left do come into play. They're right about at the FPO landing zone. This is another hard approach shot as the basket is on a little bit of a mound and it has protecting trees. I again think that the right side of this fairway is a good place to be for your approach shot.
Couldn't agree more. And same thing with Ohn there. She plays it just about exactly where I want to be. Good shot. This is lining up a little bit of extra run up. She wants some extra distance on this. Gives it a really good pull too. Same great place to be on the fairway. Nicole also not even trying to mess with those hazards on the left-hand side, keeping it pretty far right. Great shot, great placement.
There is still a noticeable tailwind, though the wind has died down as we've gotten toward the back of this back nine.
Look at this distance. Just ain't no thing. Right up the fairway.
Holyn really wants to get an eagle on this one. She's done it before.
This being kind of her home territory, she knows the shots here at Goat Hill. She knows the landing zones. She knows what she's capable of. And these second shots, it is important to try to keep yourself staying out to the right-hand side so the trees don't obstruct the basket on your third shot.
If you're close enough,
it doesn't matter.
Go straight at it.
Yeah.
But when you still have a little bit to take care of on that third shot, then I prefer the right.
Those are all good up shots so far. And Holyn the furthest up the fairway. Let's see what she can do. Looks like she let go of it just a little bit earlier than she had planned, but she's on the backside completely safe.
Yeah, there's a path on that backside, and it looks as if that path should be OB, but it is not on this hole.
See Ohn lining up a hyzer shot here. She's hoping for a little skip in on that mound.
Usually the skips end up rolling behind the trees behind the basket. But Ohn should be fine there, right there.
Same play for Nicole Bradley. She probably wanted a little bit more out of that skip.
Yeah,
She's okay.
Farther away than she had hoped.
So kind of going a little more directly at the target, and it serves her well. That's a great place to be. Getting to throw the forehand approach, and you know she's right in line for that easy putt. A jumper hitting just the top of the cage again.
I think that's the fourth time she's hit metal and not gone in the basket.
And she's right on line. Her putts her putt line is dialed in the center. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. No putt's easy, but I did accidentally say easy putt, and Holyn certainly made it look that way. Sweet birdie. Yep, Ohn, same thing. No problem taking that birdie. Lisa, same thing. It's pretty cool to see the top card, you know, putting up all these birdies on some of these big, huge holes. And no problem they're taking apart either. No damage done for Nicole.
Oh yeah, no shame on a par on that hole.
And we're moving on to hole 16. We want to thank the discbarn.com for these amazing flyovers. You guys should head over to discbarn.com. They've got a huge variety of Discraft and Discmania, and I know that their Prodigy is going to be stocked very shortly, carrying 13 other brands of discs. Thank you, discbarn.com, for these flyovers. Hole 16 is a par 5. Lots of different things can happen on this fairway.
I think this is an intimidating drive. We're throwing basically out over an abyss, it feels like. You can't see the bottom of the canyon at all. And we're far enough back that you can't throw down. You have to throw it up, and there's almost always a very strong headwind coming right at you.
Lisa taking the line I like to take. She's throwing the forehand to hyzer back into the hill and hopefully get some skibble down. And she does. Look at this little extra. Yeah.
That's nice.
Holyn, no doubt going to be throwing a turnover here. Sailing through the wind, plenty of distance. Looks like it's going to hyzer out just a little bit into the dirt.
That is safe over there.
It's going to be some tricky footing, but it's safe, yeah. And Nicole didn't get much angle on that. Actually, she let it go with a little bit of hyzer angle, but she'll be just fine right there. You can see the basket. It's pretty far away still, but just need one solid distance drive.
So that's an interesting shot that Nicole just took there, because she had a downward run up, but she had to throw up.
Yeah.
So that's something that you don't often practice.
Definitely not. I think that running down is just as throwing off of the timing as running up. You really have to have good angle, wrist control when you're doing those kind of shots.
That was really good power with Lisa. I believe she also had a pretty strange downward run up with a throwing up.
Great shot there for Ohn. I mean, she had like a side hill run up. Also not easy. And Holyn's footing, I think, is pretty tough here. I don't know if she could even see the basket at that point. It was pretty drastic uphill slope in front of her.
I don't think she intended to throw a roller there, but it worked out just fine.
Mm-hmm. For Nicole's third shot here.
So as tough as all of the elements on this hole are, it's still a pretty lightweight 5.
I'd agree with that. Very birdieable, and we saw a couple of eagles carded yesterday by some of our FPO players.
Yeah, in both rounds 1 and 2, well, 2 we played together, the card that I was on took -5 for this hole.
Yeah.
3 birdies and 1 eagle.
We want to highlight Kona Panis and Ella Hansen yesterday, doing it very, very differently, but carding that eagle.
Okay, very happy to see that one go in. That was another beautiful line.
Yeah, Nicole, that feels good. It was a little bit of a death putt, too.
A little bit.
Some nice birdies for the FPO players here. And kind of coming into the final 2-hole stretch here. Everybody's trying to card birdies. It's all there for the taking. You got to know your shots.
Hole 17, 302 feet, though it plays less than that, throwing over another canyon with the fairway sloping downward from left to right. There is usually a bit of a tailwind, and because of the little bowl in front of the basket, it kind of gives players a target to aim at to stop right with that bowl.
Not that it would be a good shot from the tee necessarily, but I'm like kind of waiting to see or hear about an ace on this hole. Does not play all of 302 feet.
No, I think it plays more like 270.
Yeah, and most players are just trying to land in that bowl, like JK said, and if you got it up in the air just enough, could be coming down on a hyzer ace.
There are a couple potential dangers, but they don't really come into play. There's an OB line left, but the fence keeps you from going over the fence typically. Woo! There, we had some potential there. And a shot that might be a little bit off to the right and long could find the green, the ball golf green, which of course is OB.
Yeah, you really just do not want to find yourself throwing it or releasing too early and hyzering over that fence into the neighbor's yard. Keep it in the fairway. But she's safe there.
She's safe, but she's got a scary putt because of the elevation drop off behind the basket.
Very smart golf play there by Nicole Bradley. If you're not 120% feeling it, like Lisa.
That's so nice.
That gave her what I like to call some of those kind of power confidence bites. Look at this replay. Fully committed. Never a question in this player's heart. And she's in.
Gorgeous.
Ohn for her too. And she takes it. Kind of spoiled the stats in the beginning. 100% from circle one. No question there for the audience or for Ohn.
Oh.
Stay. Oh.
Right, but it could have stayed.
She hit a lot of chains there, but
Yeah,
it was
she did.
just a little too far right. As we all know, these baskets are designed to catch and drop.
Hole 18, 565-foot par 4. Not any real trouble off the first shot. There is an OB rope down the left-hand side, but the generous fairway means that you really don't have to worry about it. There's a mandatory on the right, but again, you don't really have to worry about it. You can see that the basket is on a little bit of a ridge, once again giving players a backstop if they want to use it for their second shot.
You can see on those percentages too in the beginning there, 3.8 average here. So definitely getting a few birdies out there for our FPO competitors, but very, very doable par 4.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a take a breath and walk it in, because typically you have a tailwind, or towards the later parts of the day the wind has died down, so it's not as scary of shot. And again, it's a generously wide fairway.
Holyn, plenty of
Oh,
just held on to it a little long, making this hole a little bit longer for that second shot for sure. And Nicole hanging it out there, just hoping to stick and not skip too far. She's just fine. Look at that beautiful scenery too. We're in sunny, sunny SoCal. Okay, Holyn's just trying to play smart golf, get it up the fairway, and give herself a chance. She wants a par.
oh, she came very close to that left side. Wow, she's making this look like it is not a generous fairway.
Ohn approaching the basket.
Yeah, she put too much hyzer on that.
That'll give her a pretty long look. Lisa for her second shot. Hangs it out pretty wide right, but look at this coming in and giving her the birdie look. And Nicole, just a textbook hyzer there. Yeah, she's just below the basket.
That's where I like to be.
Ooh, big jump putt here. She's got a lot of distance on her putt. Put it up in the air quite high, but she's there. She still has one more chance to make the par.
She's frustrated with every shot so far on this one.
Definitely so.
Oh, no. What a beautiful finish.
She's definitely going to run it in with some champion arms right there. That one felt good.
That's a really great finish for Ohn. I think that's 4 or 5 birdies to finish.
Wow.
Oh, so nice.
Smash. Oh, man, she's going to be... That's the best feeling to end on a birdie and a huge putt like that.
Love seeing the excitement, too.
Happy day. Tap, tap. Thank you, hole 18. Holyn for a bit of a tester here for her par. And just leaving it a little bit low behind the basket. Lisa, this is a birdie look right here. A bit of a hill behind it, but no problem. Oh.
You know what? It looks like she hit pretty close to what she wanted. That's another one that we saw similar to what Nicole's did, where change, just push it right back out.
Sometimes can't explain the perfect putt not staying in.
Yeah, Lisa's might have been a tad too high, but it could have stayed.
And Holyn carding her bogey. Definitely disappointed with the way 18 treated her, or she treated 18. But Nicole here.
Oh my goodness. No.
You just have to be kidding me.
Poor Nicole. I think that's 5 for the round.
Look at her. She just can't even process.
She's still smiling. That's wonderful.
We want to thank GK Pro for covering the FPO, not only all weekend, but all season. That's just incredible to highlight our FPO players. Look at the leaderboard now. Tied for first place, we have Lisa Fajkus, Ohn Scoggins. Holyn has moved down into 5th and Nicole into 8th. We've had a big jump from second card. I know on the final hole, a super clutch putt by Ella Hansen to make top card, and Jessica playing pretty solid to make the top card as well. You can see the rest of the competitors all the way down into 10th place. We're looking forward to seeing what the final day looks like. Thank you to Innova Champion Discs for being our presenting sponsor. Come on back and join us tomorrow for the final card at the challenge at Goat Hill.